Welcome to DeepCrawl. We're going to take you through setting up a crawl for the first time, including our advanced settings. On this screen there's a list of all your projects. This will be empty if you haven't yet run a crawl. To add a new project, just click on this button at the top of the page. You provide a project name, and you have a selection of 5 different crawl types. The first crawl type is the universal crawl, which is the most popular crawl. It combines the web crawl with your XML sitemaps and organic landing pages, and it's very easy to set up. You provide a domain name here, and you can decide whether you want to crawl subdomains or not, and if you want to crawl external links. Once you've submitted the basic settings, you can add your sitemaps. If the sitemaps are referenced in the robot's txt file, then they'll be automatically picked up. If not, you can provide a list in here. Once you have your web crawl set up and the sitemaps added, you can then authenticate your Google Analytics account. You can do it very easily by clicking on this button to add an account, or if you're logged into the same account, then you'll be prompted with a message from Google that you need to accept. After that, you select the domain from the list, and then you just authenticate. Once this is done, you'll have all your site analytics data integrated with your main crawl. So once you've authenticated all of your accounts and added your sitemaps, you reach the last screen, which is the control screen. Here you can specify the crawl limits. You can choose one of the default crawl limits from 1000 to 1 million, or you can customize exactly how many levels or URLs you would like to crawl. You can also create a schedule, weekly or monthly, to automatically crawl in the future. As soon as you've set your crawl limits, you can click start and the crawl will begin. As it's in the cloud, this means you can close down your browser and the crawl will continue. So we'll take a step back now and look at the other different types of crawl that we could have chosen earlier. The second crawl type is the standard web crawl, which only crawls your site and does not look at the sitemaps or analytics data. The third crawling option is the list crawl. You can paste a list of URLs in here, or if the list is longer than 2000 URLs, you can upload it via a file, which has no limit, so you can upload up to 3 million URLs if you wish. The most common use of the list crawl is for validating your PPC campaign landing pages. You can basically export all of your landing pages from AdWords, crawl them, and the tool will identify all pages that may be broken or empty if you use it in conjunction with custom extraction. So you can very easily identify pages that you are paying to receive traffic but are broken. Fourth in the list is the sitemap crawl. It's very simple. You provide the domain. You can either check this box and the tool will automatically discover all of the sitemaps that are referenced in the robots file, or you can manually provide a list of URLs that you want it to crawl. So you can crawl your sitemaps before you submit them to Google to make sure every single URL is of good quality. At the bottom, we have the backlink crawl, which allows you to add your own domain and up to 5 competitors' domains, and you can upload backlinks from the sources of your choice. If you add the competitors' domains, DeepCrawl will create for you what's called a competitors matrix report, which will give you a list of all the pages that link to your competitors but don't link to you. Let's go through advanced settings now. Here you can choose your user agent. The default is Googlebot, but you can change it to Bingbot, Google News, Google Video, or a popular option is Googlebot Smartphone. This allows you to crawl your website as a smartphone and see how your site is structured for mobile devices. You can control the rate of your crawl. You can see that the default rate is 5 URLs per second, but you can go faster or slower. You can even decide on a different speed according to the time of the day or the day of the week. For example, you may want to crawl faster over the weekend or overnight. You can select from the spider settings here. So by default, DeepCrawl crawls from your dynamic IP address, but you can choose from the selection of country-specific IP addresses, a static IP, or a stealth crawl, which allows you to crawl your competitors. This option is designed to crawl very slowly and gently, so it won't affect your competitors' sites, and it also prevents the crawler from being blocked. You can decide on your alert options. So by default, you'll always be alerted as soon as the crawl is completed. You can set email addresses for the alerts here, and add as many as you like, separating them with commas. The next selection is around domains and starting URLs. Here you can provide domain aliases. So if you want to crawl two websites at the same time, or perhaps you want to crawl your main www website plus your forum or blog, you can specify exactly what you want to crawl. You can override the default start URL and provide any URL here. This can be very useful if you're crawling only one section of your website. Let's say you have an English version of your website that is under the EN folder. You can start from the English homepage and then restrict your crawl to stay within the EN folder. The next section is all around URL rewriting. The first option is selected by default, so DeepCrawl will strip all of the parameter strings that follow the hash. You may want to untick this box if you have an Ajax website using the escape fragment, so that these URLs are available for DeepCrawl to crawl. The first option under URL rewriting is the remove parameters section. Simply specify the parameters that you want DeepCrawl to ignore. In the next section, you can rewrite any URL before it's crawled, so this could be used if there's an issue with trailing slashes, or if you have a known issue and you don't want to crawl both versions, then you can use this to save credits. The next options are the crawl restrictions, where you can decide which URLs you would like to include or exclude. If you want to go for even more advanced restrictions, you can actually restrict the number of URLs within each page group. The best example would be a property portal where perhaps you have 1 million property details pages, but a sample of 100,000 would give you a good insight. To do this, you would define a template and name it. For instance, property details, and you can state how many URLs you would like to be crawled in this template. The syntax you would use in here is the regex, so you'd want to replace the details with any string of characters. You would use the dot with a star. The inclusions can be used for crawling one section of your website. We showed you earlier how to start from the English homepage, and in the inclusions you can actually tell the tool to stay within the EN folder. And you do it like this. So now DeepCrawl won't crawl anything apart from the EN folder. You can choose both inclusions and exclusions, so you can stay within the EN folder, but you may also wish to strip out any of the details pages in this folder, which you would do like this. The next section is custom extraction, where you can basically extract anything from the source code. This could be used for validating your analytics implementation, so you can extract any analytics tags and check if they're present and valid on every single page, and see the values you're passing to Google Analytics or Omniture, depending on your package. You can also use it to extract anything else from the content. A good example here is extracting a number of products per category, and you could easily identify pages that don't return any results. Yet they would still return a 200 status, because technically they're still valid even though they're empty. The next and very important section is around testing a new website or a new version of your site. This is where you can provide your preview environment domain. So let's say it's called previewdomain.com. You can provide your test site domain here. If it's behind an Apache username and password, you can enter those details here. You can set up your DNS entries in here, or if this doesn't help, you can crawl from the static IP address we saw earlier and get that whitelisted with your development team. Once you save it and go back to your control screen, you can select Crawl a Test Site and get a direct comparison between the live and test environments, meaning you can identify any issues and rectify them before pushing the new site live. You can do exactly the same with your robots.txt. If you make a change to the robots.txt file, rather than implementing it straight to live, you can actually paste the amended robots file in here. Your next crawl will tell you which URLs have been disallowed, and if the results meet your expectations, then you can confidently release the new robots.txt live to the site. As you can see, DeepCrawl offers a number of functions to support a wide range of tasks and objectives. Please do get in touch for a demonstration on a site you're familiar with. Thanks for watching.